Y'all, before I say literally anything else, I must confess these are not real glasses. These are blue light glasses. I have been wearing them every single day because I'm neurospicy and I struggle with eye contact, and these make it easier for me. So don't hate me. I have a disability. And yeah, I wanted to clarify that first. Didn't want to start this relationship off with a lie, a falsehood. So just wanted to come clean about that. And now that I got that out of the way, hi, welcome to my channel. I am Katie. Thank you for stopping by. This is my first YouTube video and my not first attempt at filming it, but here we are. And yeah, I posted a bunch of TikToks last summer, and I also have an Instagram account where I put out little creative writing pieces and essays and shit. And I am gonna graduate my undergraduate with my bachelor's in psychology and sociology from U of M in April. So I'm gonna be post-grad and lonely and confused about life in the next year, and I need a new hobby, and I think this can be my new hobby. So please be nice, constructive criticism only. I'm planning on getting much better at this and working on it this year. If you're mean to me, I'll piss and also cry and then throw up probably. So just please don't do that. Anyways, so also I'm sort of planning on having this be like a podcast. So I want y'all to just put me on and listen. This is the kind of content I like to watch. I can't be alone with my own thoughts for too long. So I like to listen to video essays, or long form content, like podcasts and audiobooks. So if that's you, and this video is probably for you. Who else is this video for? It's for all the ADHD girlies, or the autistic girlies, the anxious girlies, OCD girlies even. Honestly, any neurospiciness girlies, get on in here. So, yeah. I want you to get to know me a bit before we get into everything else, the sensitive content. But yeah, just wanted to get to know you real quick and then sort of just tell you my intent with this video and channel in general. I recently read a letter from myself back in 2020, and I was just reflecting on how far I've come since then. And 2020 was when my experience happened to me right before going off to college. So I've been just thinking about that a lot, and a year ago I put out a piece about it, dissecting what I call the monster myth, which I think really hurts survivors, which I'll get into later. But I ended up getting that piece published in the Daily, and am now a volunteer speaker. So I give a version of this speech to different organizations, schools, communities, anyone that requests it, and it has been, each time I go through it and talk about it, it's never easy, but at the end of it, I always feel like I've gained a little bit of the power back from it. So I wanted to share my story and also tell you guys some stuff that I wish somebody had said to me when I was in the thick of it. But yeah, this stuff, if you are in a place to listen to other people's stories, it's gonna get tough at bits, but then I promise we'll come around. Look at me like an older sister. I'm sort of talking to my younger self at the camera right now, was what I'm trying to do. A little uncomfortable, but yeah, think of me as an older sister. Even if you're older than me, literally don't care. Mind your business, just get in line. And yeah, One of the girls who had read the piece that was published recently came up to me and said that she rereads it and it really helps. So that's also, I sort of wanted to make a listening version of it that if you need to come back to, this is sort of like a safe place to land and re-listen. And yeah, I've needed, like I said, I've really needed to hear other people's stories, and it has helped me to find community and put a purpose to the pain, which is really key for healing. So that being said, let's get into the meat of it, and then on the other end of it, do like a little Q&A moment, because after I give the speech, there's a Q&A section with the audience. So I'll just maybe go through some of them that I've gotten and any closing thoughts. So, welcome to my TED Talk. Strap in, sit down, hold on. I don't know. Anyways, what I want to talk to you all about today is the monster myth, or the myth that everyone who commits acts of sexual violence are monsters. I believe this myth hurts survivors and makes it likely that we will not be believed if our stories do not conform to that misconception that the perpetrator is a monster. Actually, very few do. Today, I am 21 years old and almost graduating college at U of M. And 4 years ago, the summer before I was leaving for college, I began hanging out with a boy. He was nice, funny, a feminist, into indie music, and playing the ukulele. He would open every door for me, we watched Pixar movies and cuddled, and all the girls in his large friend group would tell me incessantly how much he liked me. I really thought I had hit the jackpot, until that night. I had dated boys before him, sometimes for months, and I never had sex with them. Before that night, I had only ever had sex once, but that was once more than he had. In his eyes, I was experienced. I heard all summer about a Snapchat group chat that was filled with other boys from their friend group, labeled the Virgins. Once they no longer held that title, they would ceremoniously leave the chat as a way to announce to the boys the newfound transformation. I knew my boy was in that chat, and I knew he wanted to leave it. I didn't see a problem with that until that evening. Then came the rare opportunity of my parents leaving me home alone for a weekend, resulting in him on my front doorstep that night. That night, I was anxious, on my period, and acutely aware of that group chat. I knew what he wanted. I knew why he wanted to come over. I tried to come up with excuses to keep him from stepping over the threshold, like how early I had to get up in the morning or how tired I was, but nothing I came up with could stop him from kissing me and pricing me into the house, closing the door behind me. I was young. I was terrified. I was a little proud that a boy liked me so much. I did not want to have sex. I did not know how to get him to stop. I thought I could just make out with him and it would be enough, just as it had been with him every other time we had hung out. Then he asked if he could take off my pants. I said yes. I thought of my tampon, my tiny shield that I could wave when I felt like he was going too far. But he was sweet and he made me laugh, so I kept kissing him. He took off his pants and his underwear. My heart rate spiked. Then he asked if it was okay to have sex. No, I have a tampon in, I said. Then I felt a sharp pain as he entered me. A feeling of pure joy rippled over his face, as my own face grimaced from the pain. No, I said as I pushed his shoulders off. He was out of me. But suddenly he was back. No, I said again, as I shook my head, holding in the tears from the pain. He looked down in my eyes for the first time, and that look of pure desire pierced my insides. As he looked me in the eyes, and once again, I felt that now familiar pain. He was inside me again. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I wanted to stay composed. Part of me still wanted him to like me. I took a deep breath and pushed him once more with every ounce of my effort that I had left. Once he got what he was looking for, he turned sweet and gentle, and he laughed, and we kissed, and I asked to go to the bathroom. I did not fight. I did not go into flight. I froze. As I laid on his chest later, I joked, "Don't you dare leave that group chat. That didn't count." Still unwilling to admit the horror of what had just happened to me. Not until I spent 2 hours trying to fish out that tampon did I consider that it might have been wrong. Not until I abstained from sex for a year afterwards did I realize how violated and powerless it made me feel. Years later, I realized I never wanted to feel that way again. From that day on, the question of what is a monster plagued me. For a while, I could never make sense of what had happened to me because the boy who did it just did not fit in that cookie-cutter definition of a rapist. He didn't seem like a monster. He didn't seem evil. If he was the good person that I thought he was, how could he have done something so horrible? This question is what swirled around in my mind for years afterwards, as my brain just could not or would not let me accept the truth of what had happened. I believe the world was filled with either good or bad people, and that everyone fits in those categories. God, I wish it was that easy. The myth that men who inflict this pain are always inherently evil is what allows rape culture to be perpetuated. Now, just to clarify, I'm not saying that rapists are all saints, because the reality is that there are serial rapists and abusers who have genuinely no sense of morality and should not be in the community. But in cases like mine, friends and family and girlfriends refuse to accept the label of rapist on their loved ones or partners. It's such a potent word. It's biting and uncomfortable to hear. So people make excuses for why something didn't count as rape to avoid having to accept those uncomfortable feelings. They look at the victim and try to find their culpability. Because if the responsibility is split between the man and the woman, the crushing weight of that label doesn't seem as heavy. Push it away and push it down, but whatever you do, don't allow yourself to see the imperfect parts of the people around you. And that is why we need to stop clinging to the labels of rapist as inhuman and victim as damaged. It allows us to be blind to the real human experiences that allow this harm to continue. Instances of sexual violence against women are not isolated incidents, but rather symptoms of a much larger problem. It's not in back alleys or parking lots. It's in the bedrooms of so many women with partners we know and trust. It is inflicted by the boy sitting next to us in class, the dedicated husband, the gentle boyfriend. It isn't monsters committing these acts. It's the seemingly good guys all around us. The problem takes root when men are taught that sex is a prize, that the label of virgin is something to be ashamed of, that their masculinity is dependent on how many women they can get with, that being a good guy in the eyes of the boys is equivalent to a get-out-of-jail-free card for any crimes they may commit. Naive young boys internalize these messages and begin to learn that women are a commodity, a woman's body becomes an asset that has value to them. I am a woman. I am not an asset. My body has no value to you. I am a daughter and sister and friend. I'm a living, breathing person, and others' actions have an impact on me. I am human. We need to teach our boys this. Simply telling them that no means no is just not enough. Boys need to fully appreciate the humanity of the women that they engage with so they can understand the gravity of consent. I believe that people like to invent myths of monsters so that they seem less monstrous themselves. The world is not black and white. There are no good people. There are just people who choose to do good and bad things. My experience was the result of a young boy's decision to choose the bad thing. I hope that my story helps more people to do the good thing instead. Thank you. And this is where everybody's clapping, thank you guys, thank you. Welcome back, Pookies. Okay, I just took a little break. Grabbed some Sun Chips. Shout out if you like the cheddar ones. Shut up if you don't. Windows shut now. Our blinds closed now. I've been having a peeping Tom problem this year. So if that's you, sir, please stop. I will piss and cry and also throw up. So please just stop. Really beginning to hurt my feelings. It's happened like 4 or 5 times, and our neighbor's Ring camera keeps getting them. So I'm gonna booby trap the wind. Anyways, this is off topic. How are we doing? I know it's sort of a heavy, so I hope you guys have taken a break, got a drink, moved around, shake it out if you need to. So first off, one of the questions that I got today when I was giving the speech for an actual crowd of people was, what helped with the healing process? Like, what helped to get me here? And the first and main one I said was my friends. As corny as it sounds, one of my best friends was there with me around that time, and I told her one time and then never spoke of it again for a year until I couldn't avoid it anymore. And she held me on the bathroom floor, and yeah, my friends got me through it and just really loved on me. So having a good support system, whatever that may look like for you, I think is really crucial, especially in the beginning stages, because the self-blame and all the shame and guilt and everything is just so heavy. You can't take it on by yourself. Everybody needs support, and this is one of those things you need support on, so lean on those that you trust. And watching a lot of TED Talks. I watched a lot of TED Talks when I was really deep in the heat. Like, I was so in the denial phase, but hearing other people's stories really helped, and being able to see that they were able to speak about it and sort of get on the other end of the pain, which is sort of why I wanted to do this, because I don't know, every time I go through that story and speak to people about it, I feel like I'm getting like one foot on it, like over it, like I'm overtaking it slowly but surely. All the power it had over me, I'm slowly just like detangling it, if that makes sense. And it's, yeah. So telling your story, I would say, is just, it's so hugely powerful. And a lot of women reached out to me in my DMs or texts or anything and shared their stories, which I like so appreciated, and like so I needed to see and hear that other people were experiencing the deep loneliness and pain that I was experiencing. So I hope this is that for you guys, because yeah, you are so not alone in this pain. Like, I could rattle off all the statistics. I know so many. I won't. We all know, but it's so common. It's so common. And I was like, sort of thought it could never happen to me because I was like a good girl and sort of a goody two shoes. Went for nerds and like very much personality kind of girl. And I just sort of had the naive assumption that nothing like that could ever happen to me because I go after nice guys. So just sort of, yeah, coming to the understanding that the world is not that simple, and two things can be true. Like, he can be nice and he can still do harm. And being able to wrap my mind around that really helped. And what else? Writing about it, yeah, you need a therapist. I have an amazing therapist. Shout out Letitia. She is, she, get a Letitia. She's my third one I've had in the last few years, so I was scared to switch them up at first, but I would highly recommend switching therapists until you find one that works for you and you have a real, like, it works. Because once you do, it's like awesome. And the other thing that helped was I'm gonna butcher this quote, but essentially that all the questions of blame and all the ways that I was beating myself down and all the different things that I could have done differently that night, all the steps of the way that I should have fought harder or argued or done anything differently, I went through in my head, obviously. But at the end of the day, I'd been in that exact same scenario many other times with him and other men, and the only thing that would have changed that night and stopped what had happened is if he had just stopped himself. That was the only difference. And why wouldn't it be me? You know, this is a human woman thing, unfortunately. But through it, I have been able to, like, stop placing blame on myself. And yeah, because I've realized if I discount this pain that I feel, I'm discounting the pain of the women who have reached out to me saying that I've helped them heal and that they related. So sort of finding self-compassion through the faces of others. Highly recommend. Like, if you are relating to anything I'm saying, but you are still having a hard time thinking, maybe I relate or anything, I would just say, like, if you have to question it, you probably already know the answer. Yes, it can happen to you, but no, it's not a, like, life sentence that you have to be hurt and in pain. Like, the hurt and the pain is inevitable after you have an experience like this, but it's not permanent. It's so annoying, all the wisdom that I'm now like, fuck, is like true. But like, the time, you just have to like let time do its thing do whatever you have to do to survive when you're in the depths of it. Lord knows my coping mechanisms weren't always healthy, but get through it. And then on the other end, when you're ready, you can keep living again and be at peace. Yeah, and just understanding that it wasn't my fault. It really wasn't. It had nothing to do with me. That really helped. And accepting my anger was the other thing I wrote down. I was resistant to admitting that I was angry or hurt or felt any sort of negative way about it. I think women are just sort of taught anger's not something we're supposed to, like, we're just trained to not express it. But pushing it away only delays it. Like, can't avoid your feelings as much as I tried. And I tried for a long time. Fortunately, it's just sort of pushing it down the field for later to deal with. You always have to deal with it. It's just when. So, yeah. I had to feel that anger. I had to accept that anger, that I was angry at the world. And that being a good person does not guarantee that the world will be good to you, you know? The world is tough. But so are we. And thumbnail.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey.
Whoa!
Bro, this is that shit. It's like.
Wait,
have
how'd
you
do
seen
that?
this?
No.
Wait,
how did you do that?
It's like a new iPhone feature thing. It's like I discovered it on FaceTime.
Damn.
It popped up behind Kyle when he was in a FaceTime with me once, and I actually thought I was tripping balls. Balloons came out from behind him.
No, that scared the
and
shit out of me.
What the hell? I only saw like a little second of it.
I don't think it's gonna do it again.
It's okay though.
I got distracted. Did I end up playing Spot It with Cameron and my other roommates? Yes. Did I mean to finish this video? Yes. Is it the next day? Yes. Am I going to commit and still finish it? Also, yes. Here we are. Welcome back. I guess I'm just gonna wrap up sort of closing thoughts and intentions for this channel, and yeah, all that good-ish. One of the other things that helped was a Stephen Colbert interview, which sounds silly, but stick with me, guys. But he's talking to Anderson Cooper about grief, and he lost his brothers and dad when he was younger. He's the youngest of 11. And he said in an interview that he was grateful for the thing he most wished hadn't happened. And I was like, that's so dumb. Like, that's actually so dumb. And that's actually so crazy that you could, like, tell me to be grateful. Nuh-uh. It just didn't sit right, personally. So ignored that advice for a while. And then sat with it. And then I started talking to other women about this stuff. And putting my writings out there. And connected to so many women, and helped walk them through their healing journey. And I was able to say stuff to them that I wish somebody had said to me, and really make an impact. And I'm really grateful that I've had that experience. And so I sort of had to realize that if this horrible thing didn't happen to me, I wouldn't be where I am now. And I'm trying to be grateful for my whole life, which means that, yeah, I am learning how to be grateful for all of it. And everything in my life, the good and the bad, has led me to be where I am today, pursuing psychology and social work and activism and living a life that is like just so full of like genuine love and connection. Like there's no better feeling than being so transparent about all this and then having so many people love me and accept me so much more because of it. Like all the shame that I was holding on to, it is just gone now, which is so freeing, and I want other people to have that. So yeah, if you liked what I had to say and you are interested in hearing me chit chat more, I'm planning on making more video essays. I'm sort of a big humanities nerd. I watch video essays all the time and decided I need to start creating. So gonna make probably a lot of videos around women-centered content, but also probably whatever I'm feeling. I'll tie in some sociology theory, probably, maybe some philosophy, definitely some psychology. We're just gonna chit chat, and I hope that if you are watching this and you are in the thick of it, that you can come back to this video, you can come to my channel or my writing and have sort of a safe place to land. And yeah, I'll just sit with you and you can sit with me and we'll just be sad together. You don't have to not be sad, we'll just be sad. Yeah, be glad to have you. And if you have any questions or requests, or I don't know how to do this, but yeah, if you're interested in anything specific that you want me to talk about, let me know. And yeah, you guys are slay. I'm gonna need to like figure out an outro vibe if I'm gonna be doing this more. Don't have that yet. So thanks for listening. Love you, besties. Have a wonderful day. And I don't know, stay sexy? No, that's awful. I'm cutting that. Oh god. Nope, I got nothing. See y'all later.